Hopefully you haven't burnt out on fighting yet, folks, because the wild past couple weeks is leading to a couple more wild weeks. The insanity that was UFC 189 led to the insanity that was Ultimate Fighter 21 finale, led to the insanity that was Fight Night Mir versus Duffy, leading to the insanity that was the Fight Night event in Glasgow this past Saturday, and now it leads to Fox. The big Fox. As in the Fox you don't need a satellite to watch. This particular Fox event is one I've been looking forward to for a while now. I'm sick of leaving that laptop on my legs, sorry. Why am I looking forward to this? One, it's the big Fox, meaning I get to watch for once! Yeah! Second, you don't get to just see 4 fights on Fox, you see 8, because you're going to be able to see 4 of the prelims as well. But most importantly, the Bantamweight Championship on the line in one of the most anticipated rematches this year. Renan Barão trying to get the title back from TJ Dillashaw. It's going to be fun. And you know what else is fun? Winning money. And you're probably wondering what in the hell I'm talking about. I'm talking about Kountermove Fantasy MMA at Kountermove.com. What is Kountermove Fantasy MMA at Kountermove.com, you may ask? Well, I am happy to give you an answer. Kountermove Fantasy MMA is a lot like those pay-to-play fantasy football games. If you have the team that has the best score, you win the most money. It's that simple, and it's completely legal. So you're probably wondering, okay, I like fighting, I like winning money. How do I put the two together? First off, you go Kountermove.com, and you select a game. There are free games, there are cheap games, there are really expensive games, but basically there's games. And each game has a specific payout level. One game, only the top 5 may win. Another game, the top 46 or 47 will win. And if you're the 46th best picker in that game, you're still winning money. It's not hard. So after you pick a game, you go to the fighter selection screen. You will have an imaginary salary cap of $25,000, which you will use to pick 5 fighters. Once you pick your team, you hit the Play Now button, and if you have the highest scoring team, you'll win the most money. Simple as that. Points are scored based on knockdowns, significant strikes landed, takedowns, submission attempts, dominant positions, and rounds won. However, what we really want are the finish bonuses. First round finish, 100 points. Second round finish, 75 points. Third, fourth, and fifth rounds, 50 points. So basically, we want finishes, want them early. That's how you get the most points. What I'm going to do, and I'm especially feeling confident about this considering how well I did with UFC 189. Yes. My second best haul yet. Anyway, based on my pretty, I should say, big success for UFC 189, I'm feeling pretty confident going into this Fox event. So I'm going to give you my picks. I'm going to run down the card, give you a basic overview of each fight, and it'll be up to you if you want to take any of my advice or not. But basically, I'm going to give you some hints as to what you might be looking for, so maybe you can win big money, just like I did for UFC 189. So here we go. And remember, we want finishes, and we want them fast. The first fight is between Zach Cummings and Antonio Barraga Neto. Cummings is 17-4. He has a 77% finish rate, 8 first-round finishes. He's fought a pretty decent level of competition. Neto is 9-2 with a no contest. He has an 89% submission rate, 6 first-round finishes. He's a pretty good submission fighter, and Cummings has been twice submitted. He has not been finished in his career either. I think this fight is a lot closer than the prices may indicate. $5,200 for Cummings, $4,400 for Nato. I guess if I'm picking, I'm probably going to go with Nato to win this one. Most of his wins are by submission, and again, Cummings has been submitted twice. But I'm not feeling the most confident about this one. I'm probably going to avoid this, but if I'm picking, I'm going to take Nato. I think he'll get the win. I think he'll get a submission. Next, we have Jessamyn Duke versus Elizabeth Phillips. Duke is 3-2 with 1 no contest. She has a 66% submission rate. One of those 2 wins was a first round finish, but in her last fight over a year ago, she was knocked out in the first round. Elizabeth Phillips is 4-3 with a 75% finish rate. One of those in the first round, but she has struggled against decent competition. And in amateur competition, she actually lost in a second round submission to Jessamyn Duke. This fight is a lot. Again, it's another close fight. I think the pricing is correct at $4,800 apiece. It's very evenly matched. If Duke wins, I honestly think she'll probably go to decision against Phillips, but it wouldn't surprise me if Phillips picks up the win either. I'm going to skip this fight. This one does not look very appealing. Next, we have Ramsey Nijem versus Andrew Holbrook. Nijem is 9-5. He has a 55% finish rate, 4 in the first round, but in all of his losses, he has been finished, including 3 times in the first round. Holbrook is making his UFC debut. He is undefeated, 9-0. All of his wins by submission, 8 of them in the first round, but he has not fought a good level of competition like Nijem has. This is another ugly fight to pick, but I'm going to take Nijem to win. I think Holbrook does not have the kind of experience to beat Ramsey Nijem. It wouldn't surprise me if Nijem does get submitted. I would not sleep on Holbrook, but Nijem is worth looking at. He is at 5,100, and Holbrook, again, 100% of his wins are submissions. So, at 4,500, Holbrook may be worth looking at if you need to make some room on your team. However, I'm going to avoid this fight, but if I'm picking, I would go with Ramsey Nijem. He may not be that bad of a pick for your Kountermove team, to be honest. Next up, we have the Battle of the Bizarre Nicknames. The Detroit superstar Darren Cruikshank versus the James Krause. Cruikshank is 16-6 with a no contest. He has a 64% finish rate, 7 in the first round, but he has had very uneven results against better fighters and often gets finished. Krause is 21-7. He has somewhere around 91% finish rate. This looks interesting calculation-wise. 14 of those finishes are in the first round. He's fought a wide variety of fighters and a wide variety of styles. I think Krause is very underpriced at 4,300. I like Krause in this fight. And even if this goes more or less to a decision, I really think that at 4,300, that's a low enough price where you're able to get a couple of much more expensive fighters who may be more likely to get the finishes you want. But again, I really like Krause in this fight. I think he will pull off a mild upset, and I think he will beat Cruikshank. And at 4,300, with that kind of potential, I think he is way too good to pass up. I'm putting Krause on my Kountermove team. And again, this frees me up to put in some higher priced fighters who I also think will get big finishes. Next, we have Eddie Wineland versus Brian Caraway. Wineland is 21-10-1. He has a 66% finish rate. 76% finish rate. 6 in the first round. He's fought the top level of fighters that there is in this business, but in his last fight over a year ago, he was knocked out. Caraway is 19-7. He has a 95% finish rate. 9 in the first round. He's also fought good level fighters, but not as good as Wineland. And he's also more of a submission fighter than a knockout fighter, which is probably the better way to beat Wineland is by knockout. I think this fight's a lot closer than most people would probably assume. I think Miesha Tate's boyfriend, Brian Caraway, that is, I think he's going to be a lot tougher than a lot of the guys that Wineland, at least the lower level guys that Wineland has fought. I think this goes to a decision. I think it's too close to call. I'm going to skip this fight. If I had to pick, I think it's a toss-up. If I'm picking anyone to win, I'm going to say Wineland because Caraway is a submission fighter, and really, I think the better chance to beat Wineland is by knockout. I just don't see Caraway doing that. So I think I would take Wineland to win, but it's going to be close. I'm not entirely sure that either man gets the finish. I'm skipping this fight. Next, we have Ben Saunders versus Kenny Robertson. Saunders is 18-6-2. He has an 88% finish rate, 10 in the first round. He's fought everyone there is to fight. That's actually a recurring theme in a lot of these fights. A lot of these fighters have pretty much fought everybody there is to face. Robertson is 15-3. He has a 87% finish rate, 10 in the first round as well. He's also fought a pretty decent level of competition. To be honest, though, I think Saunders is on a much different level than Robertson at this particular point. I like Saunders to win this fight, and at 4,800, I think he's cheap enough. You probably shouldn't sleep on Robertson. If you feel more comfortable picking Robertson instead of Saunders, I would definitely say go for it. But I like Saunders. I'm going to put him on my team. I mean, the pricing is good, and I think just ability-wise, he's much better than Robertson. But it wouldn't surprise me if it goes the other way. But I like Saunders. It's a risk I'm willing to take. Up next, we have Jim Miller versus Danny Castillo. Miller is 24-6 with 1 no contest. He has a 71% finish rate, 9 in the first round. He's fought virtually everyone there is to fight in the UFC and everywhere else. However, in his last fight, he was on the raw end of a brutal 3-round beating from Beneil Dariush. Castillo is 17-8. He has a 59% finish rate, 6 in the first round. He's also fought everyone there is to fight. I've got no problem telling you this could be a very interesting fight to pick. And honestly, I think it could go either way. If I had to pick, I would say Miller, but at 5,300, I think he's a little bit too expensive, and I would rather go with a bit more sure thing. But if you feel like it, I think you want to go with Jim Miller. If you feel he's worth the price at 5,300, because it wouldn't surprise me he gets the finish. Up next, we have Jean Vellante versus Tom Lawler. Vellante is 13-5 with a 77% finish rate, 7 in the first round. He hasn't fought as highly talented a group of fighters as Lawler has fought, but he is also very dangerous, very tough. He did finish Corey Anderson in his last fight, including using some very vicious leg kicks, which Anderson did not check, but I think Lawler will be a lot smarter than that. Filthy Tom Lawler is 9-5 with 1 no contest. Ring of Honor fans might know of him as what I'm assuming is the favorite MMA fighter of the tag team known as Red Dragon. He has a 77% finish rate, 6 in the first round. He has fought a wide assortment of fighters in his career, including Chris Weidman. However, he has also not fought in 2 years. That, I think, is going to be the deciding factor. I like Vellante as good as Tom Lawler is, and I like Tom Lawler. He's entertaining, but I think Vellante gets the win. I think he gets the finish. I like Vellante a lot in this fight, and he is someone who I think you have to put on your team. Or if nothing else, consider it, because I think he's a worthwhile pick. Then we hit the main card. And we start with Joe Lauzon versus Takanori Gomi. This could steal the show. Lozon is 24-10. He has a 96% finish rate, 15 in the first round. He's fought absolutely everyone in the division. He's very tough to beat, though he has been finished by better fighters before. Gomi is 35-10 with 1 no contest. He has a 54% finish rate, 14 in the first round, but most of those were outside the UFC. He's fought and beaten everyone. He unfortunately also has 6 submission losses, and his tenure in the UFC has been very uneven. I'm going to be honest with you. I would not sleep on Gomi here. But I think at this stage of both men's careers, I think Lozon brings a lot more to the table. I think he's just a much better fighter. The only drawback on this is he is a $5,500 pick on Kountermove. That is a huge chunk. If you can afford him, though, I would not hesitate to put Lozon in your team because I think he will get the finish. If you can afford Joe Lozon, he's a must-have for your team. I think he is a lock. Next, we have Edson Barboza versus Paul Felder. Barboza is 15-3 with a 74% finish rate, 7 in the first round. He is a highlight reel knockout artist. I mean, it seems like almost every knockout reel of just all fighters will almost always show him knocking out Terry Edom. Paul Felder is undefeated. He is at 10-0, 70% finish rate. All those 7 finishes are knockouts. 2 of those in the first round, but he has not fought the same level of competition as Barboza. This fight is a lot closer than the pricing indicates. $5,000 for Barboza, $4,600 for Felder. I think Barboza wins this, but it's a toss-up. It wouldn't surprise me if Felder gets the win. I'm going to avoid this fight because it's just so too close to call. If I'm picking, I'd probably say Barboza. Next, we have a number 1 contenders fight in the women bantamweight division. Miesha Tate versus Jessica Evil Eye. Tate is 16-5. She has a... Trying to read this here. Wish I put my glasses on. A 57% finish rate, 3 in the first round, but only 1 of her 5 losses is by decision. She has fought the absolute undisputed highest level of competition, including the champ Ronda Rousey. Jessica Eye is 11-2 with 1 no contest. She has only a 36% finish rate, 2 of those in the first round. She goes to decision way too much for my liking, way too much if you're playing Kountermove. Honestly, this is another close fight. Much closer than the score the pricing indicates. Jessica Eye would be a steal at $4,200, but she goes to decision way too much for my taste. And I think Tate will probably win this, but at $5,400, and I think it's way expensive, and I really don't see her getting the finish. I think this is a fight it's just way too expensive to pick Tate, and I don't see any value in picking Jessica Eye. Skip this fight. And then finally, our Bantamweight Championship main event, the champ TJ Dillashaw against Renan the Baron Barao. TJ Dillashaw is 11-2. He has a 72% finish rate, 4 in the first round. He is an incredibly skilled wrestler and also an incredibly skilled striker thanks to Dwayne Ludwig. Trains at Team Alpha Male and was the first person in years to beat Renan Barao. Barao is 33-2 with 1 no contest. He has a 69% finish rate, 13 in the first round, and he's fought the absolute highest level of competition. But he got caught badly off guard against Dillashaw, and he did not look that good, in my honest opinion, against Mitch Gagnon, who he did beat by submission. A lot of people are probably think this fight is close, and if Barao comes in as the Barao that we've seen just manhandle guys like Uriah Faber and Eddie Wineland and Michael McDonald, I think Barao wins this, I don't think Barao wins this, but I think he puts up a better fight against Dillashaw than the last time around. I do think Dillashaw wins. But I'll tell you right now, if we see the same Renan Barão that fought Mitch Gagnon, who it took the 3rd round to beat Gagnon, and that's the kind of fighter that Barão should have been able to mow down in the 1st. So, if that Barão shows up, this is going to end very quickly. This could go on, though, but as badly as Dillashaw beat him up in their first matchup, I think you get enough significant strikes that even if this goes to the full 5 rounds, you could still get a pretty good score. That being said, they're not cheap. Neither of these fighters are cheap. Barão at 5,100, Dillashaw 5,400. I like Dillashaw, but you might want to make some room on your team if you're going to pick him, because that's going to take a good chunk. That being said, I was able to make some room. So now you've listened to me ramble and ramble and ramble. Now you have to pick your team. And you can pick whoever the hell you want. My picks are TJ Dillashaw, Ben Saunders, Joe Lozon, John Vellante, and the man who makes this expensive lineup possible, James Krause at 4,300. I think he stands a very strong chance of beating Darren Cruikshank. I think he's worth picking at 4,300. And again, that allows me to pick somebody like Dillashaw at 5,400 and Lozon at 5,500. And also having Ben Saunders on my team at 4,800 also helps matters. But the James Krause pick really helps at 4,300. I think he's a steal at that price. So once you've picked your team, hit play now, and there you go. And you're probably... And then if you wake up in the middle of the night like, ah, crap, I think Gus Richland is an idiot. I'm not going to put Dillashaw on my team. Switch Dillashaw for somebody else. You have until the start of fight night to do so. Like I said, UFC 189 was a very good evening for me. I did really well, and if you do, and you know what? You could do really well on Saturday night for UFC on Fox. I know I'm hoping to. Kountermove Fantasy MMA at Kountermove.com. What are you waiting for? Join a game, join any game, join a lot of games, join just one game. It doesn't matter. Join a game. You'll see how fun it is, and who knows, you may haul in the big bucks as well. Heck, you may even beat me on a few of these. Who knows? So, I know I'll be watching the fights on Saturday night, and I know I'm hoping to rack in the big bucks on Kountermove. Hopefully, you play in, you rack in some of the big money as well. So until UFC 190, when I will do more picks, and that one's going to be a really hilarious card to pick for various reasons. Until next time, I'm Gus Richland, and here's hoping your drain's operable.